Today, we're going to do a presentation on the importance of the Japanese culture and going into a business and a meeting or whatever you got to do, just to know some things, the background of their culture and how to communicate, nonverbal communication. Uh, just some things about Japan. So Japan has over 125 million living residents. That's a lot of people. Um, so it's pretty packed, compact, especially for the small area it is. Capital is Tokyo. Um, One big thing about Japan is the hard work and the innovation in the high tech industries. Like for your computer to your phone, that's basically all made in Japan. And then just a little fun fact. A lot of people tend to ask very direct questions to foreigners, such as how big is your house or how much money you make. So when you go over to that country, just be prepared for those questions you might get asked.
Um, so they have business cards called the Meishi, which are handed out before every every meeting in a business setting. It has your name and your title and like rank, I guess you are in your company in the meeting. They're very valued and they shouldn't be put in pockets or thrown away. That's kind of a sign of disrespect. Um, Also, before any business meeting begins, the Meishi needs to be passed around, and that kind of allows everybody to know each other. A big sign of respect is to bow when meeting someone, and after you bow is when you exchange the maishi. Um, Japanese use last names when talking to someone, as well as like Mr. and Mrs. It's very formal, and that word is san in Japanese. Um, it's important to address the most senior attendees first and match your team. So your team should match like in how you're lined up from most senior to least senior, and that's how you address in order as a sign of respect. It's also important to look for nonverbal cues that may give a clear answer, whether it's avoiding eye contact or just indirect communication. Just pick up on that, and that kind of goes to the next one. It's very important to take time to listen and observe like rituals and practices they have and respect their culture.
So nonverbal communication in Japan highlights essentially the culture's deep-rooted emphasis on respect and social harmony. Bowing is the most unique form of nonverbal communication in Japanese culture, as used and considered as a sign of respect. When greeting others in Japanese culture, it is quite polite to bow. But in a social setting, a slight bow could be used more or less to welcome friends. A deeper bow, however, again, is used to show respect to elders or people in higher social classes. Unlike many westernized cultures, direct eye contact and finger pointing are considered rude. Rather than using direct eye contact, um, open hand gestures are preferred. Physical contact is also generally avoided in public. These actions include hugging or kissing others, although family and friends may have physical contact in private settings. In public spaces, though, physical contact is generally avoided. When laughing, it is common to cover the mouth, especially for women. This is done to avoid showing your teeth. Furthermore, maintaining proper table manners is crucial, especially eating with your mouth closed during meals. Public displays of strong emotions are also discouraged as a social norm is to act in harmony. These forms of communication are used to show respect to others and those of higher social standings in all interactions. While nonverbal communication in Japan is adapting to westernized culture, these elements of Japanese culture derive from ancient traditions.
For business practices in Japan, it's very important to invest in building a relationship before trying to make a deal. Business deals usually take time and it is a process. Um, so they usually are become after the relationships and they value relationships. If you're getting into a business setting in Japanese culture, you should learn the culture and be aware of what you're walking into so you don't cross any lines or boundaries that are out of the social norm. Um, it's also important to know the business you're getting into and how that market is going to affect. And a lot of packaging and just culture settings is different. So it's important to know. Expect many internal meetings. They value internal meetings and will meet internally even throughout meeting themselves. And finally, um, yeah, just take into account the market and the packaging and everything that they value.
So the most iconic traditional garment in Japan is the kimono. It's worn during important ceremonial occasions and such as weddings and festivals. The kimono is much more than just a clothing. It's a symbol of the Japanese culture, identity, and a reflexive value placed on a detailed and appropriate presentation. There's a difference in the gender's styles. So, for example, the women tend to wear more colorful kimonos with more patterns and accessories, while the men usually wear simpler and more neutral colors. The way the kimono is worn can also indicate the age, marital status, and even the season. Next slide. So in modern Japan, business attire is quite formal and conservative. For men, the standard is dark suits and slacks, usually paired with a shirt or a tie, and a tie, I mean. This style reflects a professionalism and respect for the workplace. And for the women tend to wear simpler and conservative outfits, often in neutral colors. This is to like not draw attention to themselves. And this aligns with Japanese culture values of harmony and group cohesion. When it comes to beauty ideals in Japan, there's a strong preference for lighter, flawless skin. This ideal can be traced back centuries and is still evident today since social media and skincare trends are so popular. And body figures are usually they want a slimmer build, graceful posture, and highly valued. It's interesting to note that Japanese beauty standards are influenced by both traditional Japanese ideals and the United States. This creates a unique blend of expectations that many Japanese people navigate in their daily lives. So in essence, in Japan, clothing and grooming are about more than just personal style. They're key ways of conveying social status, the occasion, and even aspects of personal identity. So, for example, the formality of one outfit can signal respect for an event or the people's present. Overall appearance acts as a form of nonverbal communication that reflects deeply held cultural values. So, by paying attention to how people present themselves, can gain insight into the importance of respect in traditional Japanese society.
So, for Japanese business etiquette and behavior, the most important thing to understand is that Japan places a high value on respect, formality, and tradition. These cultural norms influence how professionals interact in the workplace and during meetings. First, avoid public displays of affection or being overfamiliar. In Japan, professionalism and formality are expected at all times. Even a friendly gesture that might be acceptable in other cultures can be seen as inappropriate here. While business topics may be discussed in social or casual settings, it's important to remember that final decisions are rarely made in these environments. Rather, these conversations lay the groundwork for more formal negotiations later on. Communication in Japan tends to be indirect. You should approach interactions with modesty and a respectful tone, being mindful of body language and nonverbal cues. Silence is also a valuable part of communication and should be not rushed to fill. Gift giving also plays a major role in building relationships. Common occasions like the Osebo, the year-end season, and the Ochujin, which happens mid-year. When giving a gift, be sure to present it with both hands and avoid white wrapping paper, as white is associated with mourning. A unique cultural note is that numbers 4 and 14 are considered unlucky, and they should be avoided when giving gifts or scheduling important meetings. Um, and lastly, always adhere to the appropriate dress code. In most cases, this means wearing conservative and professional business attire, typically in dark colors.
That's a lot of the information we're going to cover today. Just the biggest takeaway is to have success in Japan, like the Japanese business, relies on respect, patience, and understanding of the culture's importance of building relationships. That's the biggest thing is making that relationship with the business you're working with, and also having patience because it's going to take some time. It's not going to happen right away at the first business meeting. And from your appearance to your body language, everything matters when preparing for business in Japan. So just if you have any questions, feel free to email one of us. We would love to speak with you guys. And yeah, that's all we got for today.